pressed start streaming. So good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on the time zones. My name is Eggs Benny, and we are live. Don't we just love a beautiful technical difficulty? Welcome to 20 Signs of Failure plays Curse of Strahd. Here are my lovely players. We have Azazel that is off on a different adventure. Jack, who is hopefully going to be joining us later, but we are unconfirmed on at least that one. Then going round the horseshoe, we have our druid.
Hello everybody, it is your friendly neighborhood Ness here. Play the Furbolg Druid, Sonder Elwood. I almost just went right into Aspen, it's fine. And we're dealing with a whole bunch of trauma and maybe beating up some hags, question mark? We'll figure it out, don't worry about it, everything's fine.
And then...
Okay, I'm gonna just nip a spot, because I really need to go now so I can get my food. Hi, I'm Ray. I play Cleric Barbarian, a miracle. I'm out of here. I gotta grab my food.
Food is a good thing. Then we have our sorcerer.
Hi guys, my name is Mythical, and I play Saya Sombra, and my character has a lot to say towards one specific person that people may or may not be able to hear. No? I don't know. But, I will just say, watch out for things that go bump in the night.
And then finally we have our paladin.
Hello, I'm Nora Nightingale, and I will be doing Aurora Rose. Currently, I'm recovering from the elements and temperature change trying to kick me in the butt, so my voice is a little squeaky tonight.
I'm the one that's supposed to sound sick, not you. I'll trade you.
It was much worse 2 days ago.
Picking up where we left off, the group had just finished a fight at the winery. They had managed to trick the druids into thinking that they were being sent away on a different mission, that they would be given new orders, and they were no longer to occupy the winery. Here, you all made it back to Kresk with the delivery of wine, giving your promise to the burgomaster that you would at least make yourself useful and therefore be granted entry. There were multiple reactions throughout the day. People being snappy towards each other, while meeting their newest stray, Amira, as she came barreling out of the woods saying that she'd had a vision and that they needed to take her with them. Part of the group stayed behind at their new lodgings. The other half went exploring around the village. A very small task and one that didn't take long. They decided on the northern border of the village to burn Queenie's body. That she was to be given a proper Viking funeral. Burning pyre and all. It's at this point that Irina is drawn to a beautifully glistening and shining pool of water. And in it you see the reflection of a man that seems incredibly happy to see her. He reaches out to her, and she reaches for him, but the party pull her away from the waves, and away from the waiting hand. The clouds above form into a shape, and they hear a booming voice claiming Irina as theirs. Before lightning strikes the pool, and it seems to lose whatever magical effect was on it. Recollecting as a group, the party decide that, at least in the interim, Jack was going to be the party leader. And make final decisions when it came to votes on actions and where they were going to be going next. You had a night's rest. Please make sure you take a long one. And reset your character sheets. and you wake up in the different areas around the cabin, whether that was sleeping in the bedroom or sleeping on a bedroll in the kind of living room, kitchen, dining, all in one space. When you wake up, you notice that it's very early in the morning. The sun is just about coming up. And when you look around to see what's disturbed you, you notice that your gracious hosts are already awake. Anna and her husband, Dimitri, are already about the house, cleaning, going about their business. Dimitri isn't wearing the big, thick fur coat that you saw him in yesterday, but he has rolled up the shirt sleeves that he's wearing, and he is hard at work milking 2 of the cows that are in the pen. As they begin to notice the people that stayed in the living room, when they notice you stirring, Dimitri almost, quite bluntly, you are awake? Good
I
morning
think that
to
was
you.
me, Jack, and somebody else?
It was you, Jack, Irina, potentially Saya, potentially Amira.
Cool. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was just Jack and me or if it was other people too, but
I know.
Oh wait, so we're just waking up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
question, is Jack okay? Cuz I would have transformed back into Furbolg and like crushed him basically under a lot of boy.
He's not crushed, just because the way that he was basically using a sofa as a bed, you've kind of more morphed into the cushions than anything else. But you are aware that as he's trying to stand to get up ready for the morning, there is like some wheezing. He is struggling to breathe at least a little bit.
Very much a like hurried climbing off of him and being like, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. I forgot that yeah." And just kind of help him get up and kind of like pat his back. Just being like, "Are you okay, buddy?"
With a chuckle, Jack just be there like, "It's fine. It's not the first time that we've forgotten that happens."
We'll just give him a very anxious smile and like bump his head against his shoulder. Just be like, "Okay, if you're sure."
I'm sure you've done nothing wrong, Sonder. At that point, Anna would come bustling out of some back room. You can see that she's tucking like multiple bits of cloth and linen into like an apron belt. And she's pulling on like some kind of cloth cap to keep her hair out of her eyes. And she looks around the room, sees that at this point everyone would be in the main area. Like, we'll say that whoever was sleeping in the bedroom that you've been allocated, like, you've come out stretching, armor on, however you want to go about your morning routine.
Well, at this point, apparently, that was just Aurora and Azazel.
Well, that's depending on Sarah and depending on Amira. I don't remember either of them claiming otherwise.
Us depending on Aurora, not Aurora, on the 2 leftovers.
Where did you sleep?
I had a crash in the living room with everybody else. I'm not going to wake people up by trying to go into a room after I've played cards all night, so...
I'm I would say Saya spent her time in a room
Fair enough.
by herself.
There isn't a room by yourself. It's either you take the bedroom with Azazel and Aurora, or you sleep on the living room floor.
Never mind. Change my answer. I was in the living room. Ayo.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Anna will turn to all of you and go, you're welcome to do whatever you wish this morning. I have just been informed that one of the women in the village is about to give birth to a baby, so I'm going to go preside over that. If you wish to come with me, you can. That is up to you. Whatever
I know a little about that if you need extra hands.
It's not necessarily a thing of extra hands, but you're more than welcome to join. As far as I'm aware, the midwife is already there.
Okay.
But feel free to join if you wish. You obviously have your own plans. That's fair enough. You can stay and help Dimitri. You can leave, come back. Free to roam as you please.
I look to the rest of the group. When did we want to head out for the windmill?
I don't believe we had a set time in mind. So I guess if everybody is ready, we can do that now, or we can kind of do other things and then go to the windmill. I don't really... Does anybody else have any plans?
Well, we have to do chores first, right? And I look to the lady.
Well, the lady hasn't waited for you.
Oh.
She's been called because the birth is happening now. So she's looked to you all, been like, do what you want, and then she's left through the front door.
Oh. Should I follow?
I mean, her husband is still there. So when you look to him being like, should I follow? He just kind of gives you a shrug, being like, it's up to you.
Aurora just looks at her. If you go, I'll go.
Cool, that'll be our chores. The rest of you guys do your chores and then we'll meet back up and then we'll go to the windmill?
Sure. If that's okay.
I have no problems with it. And she's like heading towards the door because it's like, we need to leave if we're gonna have a chance of knowing where we're going.
See you later! We just leave.
Alright then. For the ones that are left, Dimitri just kind of gives a vague thing of like, well, there isn't any specific chores, it's just, chopping wood, checking if the chickens have laid any eggs, I'm already milking the cows, keeping the place tidy, picking up after yourselves, and he kind of like gestures to like the bedrolls that have been left on the floor and plates from the night before that have not been washed up. Like standard like keeping a house tidy kind of things.
I can chop some wood. I'm pretty handy with an axe, apparently.
Knock yourself out. Pile is ready outside.
I don't mind cleaning up the living room. If you really need help on getting eggs from the chickens, I guess I can lend a hand in helping out with that.
With a anxious chuckle, Irina will look to you, saying, I think I'd be better suited to helping you with that rather than helping with that, gesturing to Sonda, like picking up the woodcutter's axe.
He gives her just a thumbs up and a smile.
I would appreciate it, Irina. We can double team it.
And she gives you a smile and a nod of like we've got this, as she begins to collect up the wooden bowls and plates that you used last night for dinner and bringing them over to what you're assuming is a wash basin, but it essentially looks like a barrel full of water that you then would fill, refill, clean as you go kind of thing.
Saya will start rolling up the bedrolls.
Fair enough. So, while that is happening, the people heading to the birth. It's quite easy to follow Anna. The village, at least the rows of houses, are quite easy to track. You can see where she's gone, and you can hear, in all honesty, the cries of pain from the woman and the comforting words that are coming from the midwife. As you kind of stand in the threshold of the door, looking in, it's that same layout as the cottage that you stayed the night in. It's this open plan, living room, kitchen, diner, with bedrooms in the back. And the woman is actually, she's not giving birth in her room. She is actually on all fours, just there, in the equivalency of the living room.
Makes sense. Biggest room.
Towels have been laid out underneath her. There is like a bowl of water, like ready to like clean off excess blood with towels. She is very much at the end of the process. Sweaty, red-faced, being told to push every 5 seconds. She's letting out a lot of painful cries. And she looks up to you in that moment. And there's the look in her eye of like, who are you? I don't know you. Like there's a bit of panic, but then that panic is completely overridden by, I am in so much pain that I don't give a shit anymore.
Hi, to help. Where do you want us?
The midwife looks up to you, and she's wearing very similar things to Anna in the sense of like apron, belt, hair all scraped back, wearing a little bit more of a covering smock on top of her normal peasant's dress. She looks at you and goes, "Baby's about to drop, you ready to catch?"
Yep. I just get into position.
And it isn't long.
I'm assuming she's pushing with the contractions.
I mean, yeah, like this isn't the thing of like, you get the impression that the midwife has done this quite a few times, like the things that she's saying, coaching her through what is happening. It's a relatively smooth process.
Mm-hmm.
But you would both notice that once the baby is born, it's immediately swaddled and it's not crying.
Okay, immediately it's like check the mouth and like if you need to like literally have to like suck the gunk out like a mirror will if nobody else is like thinking fast enough, and then obviously like rubbing baby's belly and rubbing baby's back to try and get him to cry or her to cry. We didn't say genders.
Amira, as you go to stand to like, there's that moment of panic of like, I need to flush out the gunk, I need to help this baby to breathe. Baby's fine. It's moving.
Okay.
Wiggling. Tilting its head back and forward. It's just not crying.
Huh. Well, aren't you a happy little one?
Aurora breathes a sigh of relief.
It is a, as far as you're aware, healthy baby boy.
Well, baby boy, do you want to meet your mama?
The mother has just finished the process of like passing the afterbirth, and that's been cleared and carried away. Umbilical cord has been snipped, and now she's been set up in a chair and able to hold her baby. Immediately, it has that reaction of the skin-on-skin contact. It snuggles up into the chest. It's already trying to find something to suckle on.
Mm.
But the midwife has a look on her face. Can both of you please roll an insight check for me.
Yes.
15.
Oof. 9.
Okay. Amira.
Yes.
The midwife. The best way that I can describe the look that she has on her face is troubled. Deeply troubled.
I take the midwife's hand. And we need to check the afterbirth to make sure it's all complete so there's nothing left inside Mom. And we'll just immediately start like taking them over to that. Are you okay? You look concerned. Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with the baby? Is there something wrong with Mom? What's the matter?
There is nothing medically wrong. That child has no soul. Very sad.
Is she telling the truth?
You can insight check it if you want.
I'll try again. Okay, that's an 18.
At the very least, it's the kind of thing of she believes she's telling the truth.
Okay, so as far as she's aware, because the kid didn't cry, it doesn't have a soul.
You get the impression she fully believes that.
Okay. Is it because he didn't cry?
He has no emotion. That boy will grow up to be the blankest of slates.
Well, everybody starts off as a blank slate, and then it's life that gives us our colors and our paints.
She gives you an eyebrow raise. It's like, you are either not from here, or you have forgotten much. We have not had a baby cry here for 15 years.
Yeah, I've been traveling around a bit. I forget that.
They will grow. They will become adult and live their life. That's all we can ask at this point.
Well, until a soul is available, one can't be given.
And she nods solemnly to what you say, as if you've just given like the biggest pearl of wisdom. Aurora, while this is happening and this private conversation in the corner is happening, you watch as Anna goes over to mother and baby and begins to mutter at first what you think is a prayer, but as you get closer to listen, it's actually a little bit more of just like a basic blessing. You get the impression from the words that she's using and the things that she's saying that as the burgomaster's wife, she is the person to preside over occasions like this because they don't have a priest.
Okay.
So she is giving blessings to the mother, blessings to the child, wishing them long and happy lives. She does at one point a symbol across the forehead with her thumb that you don't recognize, but you're assuming it's the equivalency of when like Catholics cross themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar in that kind of movement and iconography, although it doesn't fit anything that you personally would recognize.
Okay. Yeah, she'll watch quietly and respectfully, kind of like fascinated in the sense of like kind of seeing a different culture in action.
Mm.
And then afterwards she would politely like introduce herself to the mother and like, I'm sorry for like the suddenness of our appearance. We wanted to help and
She gives you an incredibly tired smile. A lot of her energy is drained right now, but she's at least willing to acknowledge what you've just said, and she acknowledges you. Pleasure to meet new faces. I am Demira.
And do you have a name for him?
Not yet. When his father returns, we will decide on a name for the boy.
I'm just gonna look at the baby and just like, he's adorable and congratulations.
Can you do an insight check for me, please, Aurora?
Yes.
And I'll give you information based on what you get. You've seen it before in the temple, where there's that moment when mother immediately gives birth to child, and there's that immediate love, warmth, care, attention paid to it. And there's this almost outpouring of love from mother to child. This woman, don't get me wrong, is diligently caring for the child. Doing everything that she needs to keep it warm, safe, fed. But even in this tired state, there isn't any grand outpouring of emotion. There isn't that immediate spark between mother and child. It's more... It's almost like that diligence of, I'm doing it because I should. Rather than, I'm doing this because I care.
Okay.
But she does have a faint smile on her face, and she is, like, looking down at the child, and, like, every now and again, like, he has, like, a little bit of dark hair as, like, tufts all over his head, so every now and again she'll play with the strands of hair and, like, curl it around her finger. But there isn't any grand gestures of affection.
Okay. Her eyes will dim like just a little bit at that, and everything's like a little confused since she's not used to like anything but that amount of love. But she will look at the baby and just like murmur just like sweet little nothings in Celestial, just like that, the sweet little things of like, you're so sweet, you're so cute, like look at look at your little face, you know, things like those sweet little words like that. She probably would also give a glance over towards like Amira and the midwife, like kind of shooting Amira like an "is everything okay" type of look.
I mean, we've checked like the placenta and everything to make sure it's all complete and it's there, right?
Yeah. The midwife has even put it into like a wooden examination bowl just to make sure that like everything is there. And then once she's done with it, she actually brings the bowl back over to the mother.
I'm smiling, give a thumbs up to Aurora in that case then.
Aurora would look at the mother and the midwife and everything. Just, if you need a moment, if it's not too soon, I can hold him if you need some rest.
I appreciate the offer, Aurora, I do. But it is custom that I have a day of rest and I do nothing while I get back on my feet.
Understood.
Anna with a smile of, like there's a bit of pride there. It is customary when a member of the village is either ill, injured, or, as today, they give birth. The rest of the village is to rally around and take on the chores that the Mira here cannot.
It's your sit-in day, also known as like your day in waiting.
The temple would do similar things with a new mother. Only it would all be held with the baby.
Well, that is us done, as Anna looks around to the group. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'll be going around the other villages, letting them know what tasks are additional today. You can either wait for me or head back to the house. It is completely up to you.
Looks at a mirror, just back to the house, I suppose. If there's nothing else for us to be done here.
Unless, Anna, you'd like us to go with you? Or would you prefer to just go back to the house?
It's not a case of prefer, it's whatever you want to do. I'm literally just going to be going door to door telling Jakob he's got extra mowing duties.
Oh. Then I'll guess we'll go back to the house?
Alright then. I will either see you there later or I will look for you tonight.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Congratulations again.
Thank you. And Demira gives you a very she's put the bowl down that had her afterbirth in and just gives you a very shaky wave as the last of her energy is I just need to sit in this chair and hold this baby.
Aurora also says goodbye and says goodbye again, to the baby too, just goodbye, little one. Just again in Celestial.
Alright then. We'll say in the time that you've been gone and then you coming back that Sandra, just do a general strength check for me.
Got you.
But the inside of the house is clear. Between you and Irina, saying you've done the entirety of the inside of the house, the bags are packed and ready to go, if that is what people are wanting to do.
That's a dirty 20.
That is a dirty 20. So as you go outside to check the chicken coops, there isn't a lot of eggs, but you still take the ones that are there. And every now and again you hear this rhythmic thunk, thunk, thunk of Sonder chopping wood.
Ooh. Okay.
You make a decent pile, Sonder, by the time that Aurora and Amira get back. You'd like to think that if it's not enough for today, it might even be enough for tomorrow as well.
Hell yeah. He would be in the lavender shirt that he originally had on, because it's a bit more billowy, so it doesn't trap any of the sweat from the workout. And he would kind of just see, look over and see if they either have a wood pile or if they have a specific chest to store the extra wood in. And he would start kind of moving them over, making sure that they're dry.
Fair enough. Jack, now that you are here, is there Essentially the party split really quickly to do like different chores and bits around the village before finally deciding what they were going to do for the day. Is there anything that Jack would be doing specifically or would want to do specifically?
Any of the more menial farmhand tasks, if they had farm animals like cows, chickens, milk the cows, if nobody else was doing that. Gather the eggs if nobody else did that. And he would also have King just do menial labor. If they need anything moved, just have King move what they need.
In that case then, Sonder, as you're chopping the wood, King is moving the wood into the piles. And
Cool. He's very chuffed to see King and to spend some time with him.
And while Irina and Saya are tidying up the house and getting rid of like all the mess that you made the night before, you've been tasked with dealing with the chickens.
Alrighty.
We'll say that's easy enough done. All you missed, D, was your hosts essentially said, feel free to do whatever you want to do this morning, but the wife is going to a birth. Like someone is giving birth in the village. So she needs to go now to be a part of that. And Amira and Aurora went to be a part of that.
Fair enough.
But everyone is now back and under one roof.
There is an undeniably relieved expression on Aurora's face when she kind of realizes a decent amount of the chores have been done. Just like,
Alrighty. No one's too sore, right?
No, really. It's a very nice, workout, if anything.
I feel great. We helped deliver a baby.
oh yeah, that brightens Aurora's eyes like right up, and she just eagerly nods.
You smell a smirk on Jack's face. Alrighty. Glad to hear a new life came into this world.
She smiles, but the smile doesn't like all the way reach her eyes.
Well, let's get our hiking boots on. We're gonna head back to the last town, not go to the town, but we'll try clearing out that windmill.
Aurora, you said that there were hags in it before?
Yes.
Do we
Yeah.
know how many?
3, if memory serves.
As a player, I honestly don't remember if I was there for that, or so I really don't know if there were hags or not.
All of us were there.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, like, OG party of everybody. That's where Azazel kept coming in and out, being like, fucking leave, dumbasses, and, like, chucking soul knives.
Did I get turned
I
into a worm?
Yes, you did. And I think out of here,
Oh. Go on.
I was gonna say I can't remember, but I wanted to say at least for one of those, I think out of character Mythics wasn't there for that.
Possibly.
Because it might have
someone
been
control them
Ray
for a bit.
piloting her.
I remember Ray getting turned into a worm. I'm just not sure which one that was at.
I piloted Saya when I think we went back to the coffin shop. Doming I piloted that episode.
You know what you did? You're right. You're right about that completely. Okay, so I wasn't technically there, but yes. Say will agree with Aurora.
Alrighty. I don't want to spread out too much, like we did with the druids. We got a bit too far apart on that one. It made it hard to cover each other.
It is a small space. The windmill itself isn't very wide. But I know there's at least 2 stories. And last I remember, Hazel broke one of the windows.
Fair enough.
Might have fixed it by now, though. Or at least nailed planks over it or something.
Did you happen to catch what kind of magic the hags were using?
I don't remember. We
Don't remember, it's alright.
There are very specific like hag covens sometimes. They're fey creatures, if you don't know. And sometimes there are green hags, and you know, they do all of the potions and all of that jazz. So if we knew what kind of magic that we were technically up against, it would be a little bit easier. But if you don't remember, don't strain yourself. We'll figure it out.
Like a soft little smile, apologetic smile. I'm sorry, I don't. We didn't make it very long before we had to retreat, and they turned my sister into a worm.
Oh, yeah. They like turning people into things. At least the ones that I've encountered before. They weren't exactly very friendly.
But that's all I remember. We had to run pretty fast, and we didn't realize it fast enough. Kind of shoots a slightly meaningful look at Azazel. Just he was the first one that told us to run.
While Saya's kind of listening, she turns to Jack and goes, "Can I have a word with you privately at some point?"
Go right now if you need.
If you're available, I would like to talk to you.
Sure. I don't see why not. Lead the way.
And she would just lead him to, like, I don't know, some other room or outside or whatever.
I think it'd be easy enough to say that you go outside. The garden isn't that far of a walk, and you can shut the door behind you.
Okay. I want to talk to you, knowing that you're pretty much officially the leader of this party. And I think we have to... And you can kind of see that Saya's, like, trying to put her thoughts together, and she is struggling.
It's alright. Whatever you just said. If you wanted this to keep private, I won't tell a single soul, but you don't need to be watching your words.
I want to address about what happened between me and Azazel. I know he told you, but everyone, but I don't want he's painting me as the bad guy for ruining his plan. I personally don't think he can be trusted, especially if as a changeling, he knows how to turn into Strahd and sound like him. Like, that must have mean that he met him at some point or works closely under him, right?
Weren't you there when he talked to him outside of the inn?
Should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would already know that he talked to Strahd before, like very close proximity.
Literally just calling out like he's working for Strahd.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but Saya, I'm low-key just having
I understand.
Saya go back and just defending herself for a moment.
I understand your concern.
Look. It's clear I don't like Azazel, and he clearly doesn't like me either. We're on separate sides. Whatever, fine. I'll stay in my corner. He'll stay in his. But I think you... And... I think as the official leader of our group, you should make sure that Azazel stays in line. And I really worry about Aurora.
Why do you worry about Aurora?
Since he is working with Strahd, I just don't want her getting mixed up and in the wrong. With her sister gone, she really doesn't have anyone else except me and Azazel, and of course you guys now, but I just don't want her to get strayed. To stray down the wrong path or follow Azazel into danger. I know Azazel probably won't put her in danger, but
I appreciate your concerns, but I don't know Azazel too much, I can show you that one. Nor do I know Aurora too much, but I do know from what I've seen Aurora has a good heart, and a good head on her shoulders. I don't think we have to worry about Aurora going down the wrong road. As for Azazel, can't admit he does things unorthodox. But as far as everyone in this group, he's been here probably the longest. He knows how this place works a bit more. I don't intend on letting him do things without having an eye on what he's trying to do, but when I've seen his skill set, especially if he is a changeling, you can't really keep a tight leash on that. He needs to be able to go, he needs to be able to do what he can. If we need espionage, he's gonna be the best shot we have.
I just don't want him painting me as the enemy because I stepped in to do what I thought was right.
He's gonna put a hand on Tasea's shoulders. I will never blame someone for trying to do the right thing. I will not blame you for thinking you were trying to do the right thing. That's where your heart's at. As long as you follow that, I will not blame you. Queenie wore her heart on her sleeve, and I will not blame her for speaking out and trying to protect the people out in Lash Town. Neither will I blame Aurora.
That's another thing. I really hate the last things I said or talked about with Queenie. Emotions were high. She's strong-headed. I'm pretty stubborn myself, I guess, in some ways. But I really hated how I left things with her, and now she just kind of looks down. I just wish I could tell her I was sorry for talking to her that way.
As hot-headed as Queenie is, things normally come back around. I'm sure she knew you guys would have gotten along just fine. But circumstance does. Tensions have just been high. Stress has been high. Never really been in a scenario like this, but I'm sure she's looking over us. I'm sure she knows how you feel.
Look, I mean what I say. Don't let Azazel try to manipulate anyone to do anything for his dirty work. He can't be trusted.
Keep it in mind. But I can't just... Like you were saying what he would do for you, do to you, demonize yourself. Just based on what he says. I can't just demonize him for what you say. I understand to be cautious. I know my viewpoint's different from his. But through that discourse, it does open up other doors.
That's all I want. Just
I
for you to be
understand.
cautious.
I appreciate the concern. And I assure you, I'm going to be doing my best to be as cautious as I can. I don't want to lose another person.
She just kind of nods and thanks him before pulling back and turning away to go back into the house.
Jack's going to give it a minute and then head back as well. Alrighty, we all ready to head on out? We got a hike in front of us.
Quick, we start quicker it's over.
Out of game question. Is Irina coming with us again?
That is completely up to you.
My vote's yes.
Yep.
All right. So we have an extra set of blades then.
Mm-hmm. And because you leveled up, so did she.
So she gets second attack, right?
She's not the same level as you.
Damn it. Okay, never mind.
Good try, though.
Is she a higher level than us?
No.
No.
Damn it.
You met her.
Sad.
You met her as a noble with no combat experience when you guys were level 3. But every combat that you involve her in, she does get benefits. So it's the risk reward.
Oh, yeah. We'll gather everyone, including Irina. Start heading back to the windmill.
You can definitely tell that there's a moment where Irina wasn't expecting you to call upon her. But as soon as you do, like, there's a big smile on her face. And it's very much that that stereotypical anime scene where they look to someone being like, oh, you know, we're counting on you. And there's that shocked face and then the resolute, like, smile and a head nod. It's a very, like, stereotypical animal trope, apparently. Anime trope.
It's an animal trope.
It's an animal trope as well, apparently.
I mean, if you tell a dog that they've done a very good job, they get that dopey smile, so it works.
Sure,
You know what? You gotta
we'll go with that.
You want to be careful calling Irina a dog.
It'll be fine.
She'll be a very valiant German shepherd. She'll tear everything to pieces. Don't worry about it.
All right then. So, you begin to head down the path that you took yesterday. Walking for a long while. I need to actually lift up this bloody book so that I can trace where you are on this map.
As soon as we're, like, out of the town and, like, quite a bit away so nobody can see, Amira will look to Aurora. Can you help me get my armor on, please?
Say again?
Can you help me get my armor on, please?
Oh, of course.
Amira's armor is dark. It's like a really, really dark metal. It's not black, but it's very dark, and there is a crescent moon symbol in the middle of her chest.
Ooh. This is beautiful.
Thanks. It's, I didn't really want to put it on in the village. They wouldn't appreciate it.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, she'll help her fasten it and everything.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, before we leave the village, I think it's a ritual. Yes. Can Aurora have like 10 minutes outside before we leave the village? She is going to do find steed.
Sure. What does your steed look like?
It is a Palomino horse. So anyone who's not familiar with horse coat colors. It is basically a light golden horse with like a creamy colored mane.
Fair enough. You do notice very quickly, Aurora, because everyone else is walking and you're not, that quite often you find yourself naturally drifting in front and then having to stop to wait for people to catch up with you.
Fair enough. But hey, she's probably closer to eye level with Sonder now.
If anything, Sonder would, like, ask very politely if he can pet your horse and what its name is.
She would agree. It's like, she can pet her. Her name is, she kind of pauses for a second thinking about it, just, Sundancer. Her name is Sundancer.
He would get this very, like, big smile on his face, and kind of, like, run his hand, like, down the side of her neck, and, like, basically, like, whispering, like, oh, your coat is so soft, and you're so pretty, and you're doing such a great job, you're gonna get so much food after this, and just, like, kind of gushing over her. She'll be petting Sundancer and everything too. Oh, and Sonder. Yes.
I didn't say it yesterday. I didn't have a chance, but I'm here if you need to talk. I know what you're going through. Very, if you need someone else to know, I'm here.
You can see his smile kind of, like, crack a little bit, where instead of it being this very, like, happy smile, like, the corners of his mouth kind of tug down a little bit as he's trying to keep that smile up. As he kind of, like, looks down at his feet a little bit. Thank you. It feels really silly. I didn't really know her as long as Jack, and I know he's grieving in his own way, so I didn't want to bother him with it. And I know he would say that it's fine and that I'm not being a bother, but I don't want him to deal with my emotions as well. Especially now that he has the, I guess, responsibility of being the leader of our group now.
I understand. I didn't mean to bring up such memories, but
It's okay. Sorry, go ahead.
She puts like a comforting hand on him. He's like squeeze, like just a gentle reassuring squeeze. Hey.
He'll kind of, like, definitely lean into it a little bit, and you can see his eyes kind of start to mist a little bit. He's not fully, like, crying, but he's definitely about to, is the best way I can describe it, where his eyes are all glassy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see him trying so hard to keep that smile on his face.
I didn't mean to move down. I wanted to be sure you knew that. I'm sure Queenie would want you to be be able to talk to someone.
Hey, you, it's okay. I really do appreciate it a lot. If I'm allowed to, I guess, spill my guts, so to speak, I feel extremely guilty about it, as he kind of like, it's a very hollow, like, chuckle in the center of his chest, as like, assuming that you're like either on Sundancer or like next to her, he'll kind of like look at you and like you can see him, like his lip is quivering, like his jaw shaking, as he kind of like cards his hand through his hair. I know it's not my fault what happened, but I could have done more. I could have moved. I should have done something, and they were the only family that I had left. As he's kind of freely crying.
She's... Nope, go on.
He kind of just like, his shoulders kind of shake a little bit. As he very much like ashamed kind of looks away from you and more towards the ground.
She'll reach out and she'll wrap him into a hug at that. It was a lot that could have been done differently during the day. I could have done more too. I could have decided, I could have went past the smaller ones and went for her. I could have done a lot more to keep her alive. But none of us were taken for what happened in the end. We did what we could. We're still struggling. As hard and as easy as it might be, we're still here.
He kind of like, as soon as you pull him into that hug, he kind of like crumples, I guess. He kind of sags into you and holds you close, and you can feel the shudders of breath between him crying. Like it shakes his entire chest as he like grips onto you tightly. And he kind of like nods. I know it's silly, and I know that we couldn't protect everybody. And especially in a place like this. But I feel so guilty. Everybody has lost something close to them. Someone close to them. And I feel like I don't have a right to feel like this. I feel like I'm just burdening everybody else with my emotions. And I know it's silly, and I know I'm being a hypocrite, but I can't help but feel like my feelings aren't justified.
No. They are very, very justified, Sandra. Honestly, after the past few days, I don't know how I'm functioning, but I do need to mourn. I don't feel unless you mourn. That's why I wanted to say something.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like you said, we've all lost somebody. It means we all know how it feels and what everyone's done. It means we can help each other feel.
He kind of like, you can feel him, I guess, coming down from it. He's not shaking much anymore. It's more like just centered in his hands. His breathing is evened out and it's a bit deeper. You can feel him trying to take deeper breaths to kind of steady himself. And he nods. I know that, I guess it strengthens our resolve even further to keep everybody safe and to get out alive. I'm just, I'm scared. I've never dealt with anything like this before. I mean, the Feywild was at least, as weird as it is to say, somewhat predictable. Where if I kept my head down and I didn't get attached to anybody, I would be okay. I knew how to handle myself, and that was fine. And then all of this happens. I meet Queenie and Jack, and we become friends, and then we fall in here, and everybody is so hopeless and so lost, and everything is dark, and he kind of just like sags into you a bit more.
It's a like very almost sad like chuckle from her, like she's trying to like put a little bit of mirth into it, but she's failing. That's why her name, she pats Sundancer on the neck. That's why her name is Sundancer. That's why she looks the way she does. I miss the sun so much. This is all new to me too. And I'm scared too. I don't want to lose anyone else. But we're friends, and I know we just met, but at some point after being through a lot, there's a family forged from conflict, from brothers in arms, from going through battles together, and it'll be like having a family of sorts. And, as long as we hold on to that, I'd like to hope we'll be okay.
He definitely kind of hugs you a bit tighter, Um, and he chuckles a little bit. I understand what you mean. I might not know a lot about any of you, but we've been through hardships together, and even though we might fight and disagree, you're still very important to me. And I will do whatever I can in my power to make sure that nobody else gets hurt. I'll do my best, and I'll die trying if I have to.
So will I. So will I. I've seen enough of my friends die. And enough people die and suffer here needlessly. I don't want to see any more of it.
He'll kind of like, I guess pull away a little bit and like hold you by the shoulders. His eyes are all puffy. He's got like, his cheeks are pink. His, his ears are all down, but he looks at you with a look of like conviction. And he kind of nods to you.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely like unshed tears in her eyes. Like she's close to crying herself, but she's trying to like keep it together so she can be the comfort right now.
He'll kind of drop his hands from your shoulders and kind of pick both of your hands up. And he gives them a tight squeeze. I feel a little bit of, I guess, a kindred spirit with you. I feel like we see eye to eye in a lot of things. And we're, I guess, for lack of a better term, quite sensitive souls. If you ever need anything, I know I might not be able to fix it, but I'll be here. If you need a hug, or if you need to cry, or if you need somebody to do your hair, or to talk about flowers with. Anything to take your mind off of it. Just let me know. I might not be great at it. People aren't exactly my specialty, but I'll try.
She gives like this sort of like the little like choked like laugh, like she's trying to laugh and it's like a partial sob. And smiles. I'll be sure to take you up on that. And likewise, I've not had anyone who shares a similar interest with me since we left Noble, and I miss it. I miss it. I miss talking about art and flowers, playing music.
He kind of gives her hands a little bit of a squeeze. Well, we can set aside some time every night. It will be us talking about things that we saw that day, or memories of happier times. play some music together, if you'd like, just to help comfort each other.
I love that. Maybe we can trade some artist tips too.
He definitely smiles at that. And maybe if we can find the right ingredients, I can teach you how to make paint from flowers and leaves and berries.
I would love that. I'd love to be able to bring some color into my drawings.
He gives you a smile. And he'll kind of drop your hands and push his hands on his cheeks, like trying to dry his tears and kind of rub his eyes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get so emotional and get you emotional and cry all over you and thank you. I really needed that.
Anytime, Splinter. And talk to Jack. None of us should be going through any of this alone.
Maybe after today, once we get either the new base of operations sorted out, or if we decide to go back to the homestead, I'll talk to him about it.
Of course.
Anyways, I thank you for your time, and a shoulder. You're very nice to hug. He just very awkwardly like wipes imaginary dust off of his shirt as he kind of is like put his hands behind his back and just awkwardly looking down at the floor.
She gives like a small, like genuine little laugh. You as well, Sonder. You're very easy to talk to.
He kind of looks up and gives her a very shy, like embarrassed smile. I'm glad. I guess it's comforting, knowing that I'm a good listener.
Yeah. We should assuming it. I don't know if this is still during the summoning, but if it is, we should probably get going before this. It gets too much later.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Would you maybe help me on to Sundancer?
He gives her a smile and kind of like, does the steed come with full saddle and reins and everything, or is it just bareback?
I'm actually checking that right now. I want to say it doesn't look like it.
If I remember correctly, the steed just appears the way that you wish it to appear. So if you want it to come with the full, like, bridle saddle accoutrement, then it can do. Or if you'd rather it be, like, Shadowfax style. Oh, look, a noble horse coming from nowhere. Then that's up to you.
Okay. She is practical enough. She probably would have it with gear and everything that very much suits her. Probably got like roses and like beautiful like flaming motifs etched into it.
He would then I guess take your hand to help like steady you in the oh my god, what is it called? I'm completely drawing a blank. Stirrup, I think
Yes.
is what it's called.
Yes.
He would steady you so you can put your foot in the stirrup and like chuck your leg over the other side. Make sure that you're on steady and you got the reins. And he'll smile and kind of like pet Sundancer's side and just kind of like, well, whenever you're ready.
At this point, I'm as ready as I can be.
Gives you a small smile and a nod. And I guess we'll go join the rest of the group and see if they're ready to take off yet.
I'd say that for everyone else, you've essentially been watching for the last 10 minutes, because I'm assuming that you're casting Find Steed as the ritual version.
Yes.
Yeah, so for the last 10 minutes, Aurora has been concentrating on some kind of magic. They're, what's it called? Like the arcane runes drawn into the floor are at least an indication that she's trying to channel something. And then from a glyph in the floor appearing from nowhere and some blinding light and the smell of fresh rose water, this beautiful horse appears.
Well, that's useful.
Very much so. Now, wagon short from having her own trolley.
I know where we can get one.
I don't think we have the funds for one.
Yeah, that's true. When we do have the funds, I know where to get one.
Keep that in mind. Guessing you're ready now? He's gonna say to her, assuming they're approaching the groom.
As ready as I can be.
Right. We got this.
A very nervous smile from her.
I believe in your abilities. Believe in everyone's. One thing I do need to ask, though. He's gonna start walking. Mira.
Hmm?
I haven't seen you in a fight yet. I don't know what you do.
I can be in the middle. I could be up front. More up front.
Right.
Anybody else do that? Like, up front? In the action?
Few of us do, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Sonder will kind of like raise his hand a little bit.
Aurora as well, from like lifting one hand off her reins.
Okay.
Get this over with. get there...
Oh, go on.
Go for it.
No, you finish. I was just going to start describing things, but if you want to keep talking.
Yeah. When we get there, two things. Sonda, if you can cover our approach, that'd be fantastic. If not, I understand. But, I want King, Aurora, Sonda, I guess Mira. You guys want to take point? I want to flood in to the windmill. If it's a smaller space, fantastic. We need to get in. Make space for everyone to get in. But we need to take out one of those hags sooner than later. The sooner we get one out, the better. Less spells that they can cast.
Thunder will kind of nod and sheepishly kind of rub the back of his head. I can definitely wild shape, but I am pretty big, so I don't know how much space we'll have.
I was told it was going to be pretty tight, so if we don't have enough space, pull you back a bit.
I've got a few spells up my sleeve. So if we need to, I can always just stay me and AoE, I guess.
Fair enough.
Something to consider as Irina pipes up from the back line. Obviously, we're going to the windmill now, and I think that is the correct plan. But we also got the warning from the Martikovs from the winery that we shouldn't let the druids fester at Yester Hill for too long. I'm not saying we do both in the same day, I'm just saying that maybe that should be the next call.
That is a very good point. Because if they're still out there, they're, scheming and plotting and could be dangerous, so...
Our game plan together. We'll take the windmill. Spend the rest of the day sprucing it up if need be. Make it into an actual place we can stay. Depending on how we do. Tomorrow we'll make our way back, but we'll start at Yester Hill.
Madam Ava did say she needed to see all of you guys? And from what I recollect, the windmill's not far from where Madam Ava currently is.
We do that today then. Fair enough.
I personally hope we get to go to the windmill. For I should thank our lovely friends for making our lives a living hell.
So windmill and then Ava? Or...
That would be correct.
Okay.
Alright then. You make it to the first crossroads easily enough. The signpost indicating the winery still there, still ever present. There is another branch that heads back to Valaki and Ravenloft. As you carry on, there is a path not signposted that leads to the north. It looks more like a country trail than anything else. but it leads off and up to an area that you don't know, and it isn't signposted as anything.
I'm so curious about that. We got a game plan. After Yester Hill, we're going down that road. Any objections?
None at all.
Wherever you go, I go, so.
Just curiosity on that one.
Onward, fearless leader.
Oh no.
Out of character. You lead, we follow. You kill us, we'll haunt you.
It's fair. I don't intend on any of our characters dying. I'll make sure none of them die anymore.
I'm that.
Where are we going?
Continue back to the windmill.
Okay, following the road to Vallaki. You make it further down the road, and there is another off-turning. This one heading further south. And it seems that the pathway crests up a hill before disappearing behind the tree line. But assuming you don't pay it any mind and you continue towards Vallaki.
Mm-hmm. That would be correct.
Just before you make it to the outskirts of what would be the Vistani encampment, you see something in the road. It's obviously been trampled by someone underfoot as it's slightly impressed into the dirt road. But you do see it, shining and sparkling below you.
Go take a look at it. See what's in the road.
It's a necklace. You don't immediately recognize the design at first. But as you pick it up to examine it, you see that it's a simple silver chain. The actual necklace itself is just of a simple build. But as you examine it a little further, Jack, there's a couple of symbols on it that you don't recognize. But there's one that you do. And it's the symbol for Onatar, Queenie's deity. And there's more symbols and different symbols. You're assuming that they are of other gods, other religions that you don't recognize.
Just gonna nod a bit. Areno or Zazel has both been around here for quite some time. Are these any symbols of deities you guys recognize?
Amira holds up her hand.
That's also right. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to having you around yet.
It's okay. I was just gonna say I'm also from here.
Then you're included in this question. Do you recognize any of these?
Oh, okay. Go over and have a look.
I would say, just from your passive perception, there is a symbol that you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Aurora's armor.
Oh, just
Aurora, this was your symbol.
Aurora would dismount and go over and look. Get kind of excited when she realizes, oh, it's Suni.
I never asked. Suni?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So you got Suni.
Do I see the ones from here?
You do, yeah.
That's the Morning Lord. That's Mother Midnight. That's your one, Suni.
I don't recognize any others, do I?
No, you don't.
No.
And that's all I know.
Question: would Aurora recognize any of the others?
Religion check.
Oof.
Oh yeah. With a natural 1, I'm gonna say no. There are so many interlocking symbols here, so many with very similar iconographies, that you're just getting overwhelmed with the amount of symbols that are here.
Fair enough.
I low-key want to try it myself, but I don't have really religion.
I mean, you're more than welcome to.
Aurora's just happy to see Suni somewhere.
Try it. Let's see what happens. It's a wing and a miss.
Now.
I mean, hey, you gave it a go. There's no one that you particularly recognize, Saya, but then you never grew up in a particularly religious household, so it makes sense that you don't necessarily know who these people might be.
True.
Well then. I think
But-
we could easily say this is a sign that at least the gods are trying to push something forward. At least more than one.
It's many.
Yeah, counting
I
up how
wonder
many...
who this could have belonged to. Sorry.
No, that's alright. All I was saying was counting up how many symbols are actually on the necklace. You count at least a dozen.
Do we think it... No, it's a silly thing to think.
What you thought?
Well, if this one's Suni, which is yours, the only two really in Barovia are the Morning Lord and Mother Midnight. And obviously, all you guys came from elsewhere. Do you think it might record the different religions that pass through here? Or do you think this is like just somebody's like passion project that they lost?
That is a very good question. I was thinking myself who this might belong to.
Be a very rare passion project.
Considering you said Barovia usually only has the 2 other deities, and from what we've been experiencing, nobody else really knows any of these deities, so it has to be from somebody outside of Barovia.
Well, where are you guys from?
Well, a bit all over, I guess.
So you're all not from the same place?
One moment as Saya's player looks up her doc.
I'm originally from the Feywild, which is a different
Okay.
plane.
Are there any symbols on here from the Feywild?
I guess I'll take a look and see. I don't think so, but I'll go for it.
Make a religion check.
I grew up in the north bank of Silvery Moon.
I have no idea what that is.
It's in Faerun.
I got a 10.
No, I think in character she was saying, I don't know where that is. No.
Bit of both. In and out of character, I don't know where that is.
Somewhere on a map.
You are not wrong.
It sounded like you're about to say, you are here.
Aurora would recognize the name though. It's Silvery Moon is in Faerun.
Okay, so we've got Feywild, Faerun. You from another place called Fey?
No.
Something?
Eberron.
Okay. What a funny hodgepodge group we are. Do you see any from Eberron?
Oh, go on, finish that. Finish that thought.
Do you recognize any from Eberron?
There's some in there. Yeah. I don't remember. I don't recall the one. It was
Okay.
Queenie's.
What was their deity?
She's gonna nod. And just turn.
Okay. Bad question. Shouldn't have asked that question.
You're fine.
But Sonder, to answer that question, you don't recognize any of these symbols as holy symbols, but you do recognize one of them.
Ooh.
And it is the holy crest of the Queen of the Sealy Court.
Oh, holy shit. Okay. So yeah. Sonder will kind of look at it and his eyes will go a little bit wide. Oh, I didn't expect to see this out here. He points. This one is actually the crest of the Queen of the Sealy Court back from the Feywild. How did... His brain is just completely kaput. Like, he has, like, dial-up tone. Seriously, like, where... He's racking his brain, being like, how the fuck would anybody know about this? This is very strange.
I have
Well,
one.
let's put this. Sorry, go ahead, leader.
You don't need to apologize. You're alright. I just have a small theory about it, but I could definitely be wrong.
I mean, if anything is worth talking about it right now, I mean, if you think maybe somebody's following us or something.
Doubt that. Technically, I guess. But this has deities from where all of us have been. Or from. All in one necklace. One item. I don't know many people here who also have a small group of people from all these places. Heck, I don't think I know anyone else who's been from a different plane that hasn't been in this group. I'd say it's from a deity, or deities. Trying to be a little pick-me-up.
In my opinion, just looking at this necklace with all these different colorful symbols here, it seems to me that whoever made this or was carrying it around was desperate enough to ask for all the help from the world that they could get. But in my experience on this world, you have to do things yourself. Lots of hard work and discipline. I don't personally believe in any religion, so I don't really think that aid will come, but I don't know too much about it, though. That's just my thoughts.
I'm not extremely well versed in any sort of religion myself. Kind of nodding to Saya, but I'm definitely leaning a little bit more to your theory, Jack. I mean, where did this come from? We would have seen it before. It doesn't make sense if really the only two deities in oh my god, my brain.
Barovia.
Yeah, thank
Barovia.
you. The only two deities in Barovia, and all of these, which, I mean, it only makes sense that something of a higher power or something akin to that would even really know about any of this.
Other than that, you'd be looking at one person who has a very niche knowledge of multiple planes of existence.
And I can really only imagine that coming through as this person may be documenting and writing down symbols, iconography, and worship for, I guess, anybody who falls through from outside into Barovia and, like, cataloging that. But why would they make a specific pendant for all of them?
The holiest of holy symbols? I mean, some people have a pendant or a necklace. I have a ring. And, like, she holds up her hand so you can see the ring.
I
have
also
a ring, for instance.
I also have I guess you would call it a focus. And Sonder will bring out like a small twig of like a cut off from a branch. But I mean, I don't really know a lot about religion in it of itself, but if this one person was putting together all of this, I mean, like you said, it could be because they were trying to pray to as many deities as possible, but considering it's something relevant to all of us, it's disconcerting at best.
It's probably something we can ask Madam Ava, but you guys really wanted to get to the windmill. Jack, I'm assuming you're wanting to hold on to this?
Someone else can if they want.
I don't mind.
if you don't want to hold it.
Go for it, Mira.
Okay. Take it and very gently and gingerly put it into her pack. Make sure it's secured.
Jack's just gonna start heading back down the road.
You okay?
Alright. We got a windmill to clear out. Goal set in front of us, and work to be done.
Okay.
As you're heading past the town of Alaki coming up on your left, it's incredibly quiet. Now, don't get me wrong, you've been in there on days where there's been no activity and it has been quiet, but there's at least been that ambient background noise of people and something. People moving about, people buying, selling wares, moving about town, talking to their neighbours. There's always been noise. Whereas now, listening out for any, it all seems very muted. But you continue on by. You have your task and you have what you want to be doing, at the very least. You continue on through. Past the lake, where you had your incident with the Fistani's daughter. And up that incline and up the hill, heading back towards this dreaded place. It fills a lot of you with dread as you begin to walk up the street and towards that building. It hasn't changed. It's still this rocky centre. Twisted balconies, roof falling in. You can hear, even from here, the grinding of the millstone. It doesn't seem that anyone has noticed you. It doesn't seem that anyone has been alerted to your presence. So now the only question is, what do you do?
We can, if you wanted to, I still have the spell that makes us very quiet. If you want to have a more surprise attack aspect to it.
I'd say go for it. Aurora was gonna say something.
Oh, just that. Aurora. No, actually, you guys go ahead before Aurora does what she's gonna do.
I think that'd be a good idea. Cover approach. Have Aurora, if you're alright with it, take point. I'll have King right behind you. Followed by Mira, Sonda. I'll have myself, Saya. Before myself, we'll have Irina, then myself. saying, and then Azazel take Overwatch. That'd be fantastic.
Where did Aurora's token go?
It was under
Oh,
mine,
there
which
you
is why I moved it.
I'm alright with it. I'm going to leave Sundancer a little ways back to hopefully keep her from getting spotted.
So what's the marching order, sorry?
It'd be Aurora, King, Mira, Sonder, Irina, myself, Saya, then Azazel. Get the people who are in melee. Back up right behind them. Aurora, I need you to push in. Once we get to that door, push in. We'll be right behind you. We need to take as much space as we can. Rush the first hag we see. Go forward from there.
Okay.
So are we all stealthing up and then going in?
Yes.
Basically kicking down the door in, filing in, and attacking the first thing that we see.
Okay.
Pretty much stealthing up to the building, and then when we're at the building, through stealth, everyone pile in.
Okay. So are we rolling stealths now?
From the sounds of it.
Okay. Does my armor impose disadvantage? Is a question. Yes, it does. But we have a +10 from Pass Without Trace?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Oh no!
Oh my gosh, I'm just terrible.
Wait, why do you have disadvantage?
My armor also imposes disadvantage.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Mine.
This is why we have Pass Without a Trace.
Yes, literally, this is why we have Pass Without a Trace.
Stealth is not with us, guys, but with Pass Without a Trace, it is.
Well, some of you...
Here's King with disadvantage.
I was going to say, some of you aren't adding the +10 as you're rolling, which is fine. It just means that we need to do some more specific maths.
I think it's just
I forgot about that.
Saya and Sonder.
That's fine. And then I'm rolling for Azazel.
Oh, I just rolled for Azazel.
Oh, fair enough. You just rolled for Azazel. Yeah.
Worse, he's invisible.
Yeah.
Thought I
He's
could be
gone.
invisible,
None
but
of you.
no,
None of you know where
you.
he is, and you're struggling to see King as well, which is interesting.
Fuck you, Azazel!
King, a 7-foot-tall mechanical man, just disappears.
So we have a 15, a natural 1 with a 12, a 21, a 10, a 25, a 24, and a 39. Because that's what he gets for having a bloody natural 19, apparently. Jesus.
Bloody hell.
Rogues, my man.
Not even the gods
Expertise.
can see him.
Not even the gods can see that, man. Azazel's gone. I think it's safe to say that for all of you, Azazel's fucking gone. You've no idea where he is. I will say, Aurora, as you begin to head towards the front door, there is another raven sitting on the door jamb. It's there again. And as it watches you approach, it hops in place to draw attention to itself, and then flies to the north. Where
She will. Go on. She was just gonna follow its gaze, or like follow it with her eyes.
and following the flight path, it heads back towards Valaki, but it also draws your attention to the standing stones about 600 feet away.
If I wasn't concentrating, I would cast Speak with Animals, but I'd actually talk to them for once and be like, "Hey, buddy, where are we going? What do you need?"
You know what? Yeah, Aurora would. Let's use a spell slot to do that. Aurora will cast Speak with Animals.
Okay, so that one particular raven is gone, but as you're looking over the standing stones, there are more ravens. So if you want to go and talk to them, you can do.
Kind of looks at Saunders. I can talk to them, but I don't want to. Don't know if I should, but might be wise to hear what they have to say.
It does seem rather important.
They were here last time too.
Oh, well, then I guess it's double important. Especially if they're trying to get our attention, and they did help us out last time. With the winery.
Well, that's a good thing. They're good, you just don't hurt them.
We should just see what they have to say. Especially if it's a warning.
Because I don't feed anything. It's like almost this like note of amusement almost in her voice. Jack kind of motions towards the standing stones and the on the birds. I can go see what they have to say.
He would nod.
She'll start heading over that way then.
Okay. It's a little bit of a walk off. As I said, it's about 600 feet away from you, so it's taking over, like, it's 2 minutes of walking just to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But you are now there. I'm trying to remember if you as a party have been to the Standing Stones before.
We haven't.
We have not.
Ah, beautiful.
Yes, I've noticed them, but we've never went there before.
Ah, beautiful. Okay, so on the 4 cardinal points of the compass, north, south, east, and west, are 4 large standing stones. These monoliths, you can tell, are old and have been here for a very long time, covered in moss, ivy, natural vegetation that has just etched itself into the grooves carved on them. These megaliths are covered in designs and scratchings that when you take a closer look, you realize they actually follow patterns of the seasons. There's one showing an abundance of life, whether it be animal or plant, and that must be spring. One celebrating the hot sun and the long days of the high sun in the sky, and it must be summer. There's one that has been drawn as if to emulate leaves falling, like there's lines coming off the back of the design to make it look like a wind direction, and it's the beginning of fall. And then one covered in delicately carved icicles, and a lake frozen over like a mirror to be winter. In the center of this clearing, a stone plinth has been at some point placed in the ground, but it's been so long now that the ground is almost swallowing the stone up. And you can see the foundation sinking behind the earth line. In the middle of the plinth, you can see a bag. Very similar to a coin purse in the way that it is a cloth sack that ties at the top. But as you look closer, you can see that it's covered in designs and runes.
She's going to look at it, but she's not going to touch it. She's gonna look at... Wait, is the bird still there?
There are many birds here, flying overhead, sat on the megaliths. You have an audience.
Are any of them saying anything?
Are you speaking to any of them?
She can. It was more of just like, are they saying anything when she approaches?
I need to reread the spell description for Speak with Animals. Because if you can just hear what they're saying, then that's a whole different kit and caboodle.
Can we try to figure out some of the runes on the bag?
Did you go with?
I assumed we all went with.
Not necessarily, because I think Jack said he was staying, but...
Yeah, I was just on for Aurora to go check it out.
You gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough, yes. So, as before you make your way there, all you can hear is a repeated chorus of, "Here, come here, come here, here, come here." And then as you arrive there, it's because there are so many, it's an overlapping cacophony of voices, which is like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, we were worried. Oh, we were wondering if someone would ever arrive. Oh, finally someone made it." Like, there's different personalities like all around you. And it's almost like you're listening to an echo chamber as you hear all these voices start to command you. They're like, the bag, take the bag, destroy the bag, take the bag, take the bag. Take the bag, burn the bag, freeze the bag, get rid of the bag, hide the bag. Destroy the bag, take the bag.
What is the bag?
Magic, dark magic, powerful magic, hidden magic. Take the bag, burn the bag.
Will it stop them? And she points towards the windmill.
Some, yes, some, not all, maybe all, don't know. Take bag, burn bag, freeze bag, crush bag.
Can she recognize any of the runes on the bag?
Make an Arcana check for me. Fair play. I would say... you would be able to recognize some of the runes as from the School of Abjuration. But other than that, you don't know what they do.
Okay.
But while you're trying to think and you're examining the bag, this repeating repetition from the birds doesn't let up at all. In fact, you're starting to get a migraine from all of these voices yelling at you over and over again, overlapping each other. Bag, take bag, take bag, take bag, burn, freeze, destroy, crush, flatten. get rid of,
Yeah, she's-
throw in this lake, throw in the sea, get rid of the bag, burn bag, and it like keeps going.
Yeah, she's like grimacing from it. But after a moment, she will go out and very carefully take the bag, like pinch it between like a thumb and forefinger like that. I really don't want to pick this up. But she will pick it up to try and see if she can move it and destroy it. Get it out of the standing stones.
Okay. What are we doing to destroy the bag?
Okay, cool. She does have a tender blocks. First thought would probably be to try to set it on fire.
Okay. You... I will say that for the perspective of everyone else, you can just about see Aurora enter the center of this little stone circle, pick something up, and she's staring at it for a long while, and then she leaves the circle, now carrying something.
I would have followed after her.
Mm-hmm. So in that case, then, you see her pick up this a cloth coin purse style bag. But obviously you can't hear what the animals are saying, so you can just see her grimacing as the cawing of the crows gets louder and louder and louder and more repetitious. More crows join in until at one point all of them are just squawking at her.
Are you sure the birds want you to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do they want you to do with it?
Destroy it. They say
Okay.
They say it's dark magic, and they say it makes out the hags.
It's dark magic? Okay.
I got a spell that might work.
Wonderful.
You might want to put it down.
Yeah, she's gonna. You don't need to tell her twice. It's like very literally, like again, like you're pinching something, keeping it at arm's length that you really don't want to be touching.
Going off the fact that it's dark magic and they want us to destroy it, I'm gonna go with radiant damage and I'm gonna do sacred flame.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about an inanimate object passing or failing a dex saving throw. It just roll the damage for me.
So it's 2d8. Okay. Damage, normal. Wow, that is mediocre at best.
You have singed like the corner of the bag, and it is starting to destroy the cloth that it's made of. Now that there is a hole in the stitchwork, you both hear this sound that the equivalency that I can think of to describe it is the high-pitched whine of a balloon slowly going down.
That's a horrible sound. I'm gonna keep sacred flaming it.
Yeah, but it has this mingled, tinged-in effect that I both need you to roll perception checks for, and then, Amira, roll damage for sacred flame again.
That was so close to a 13. That would have been a day 20, but it's just a 12.
Aurora, it's this high-pitched whine, but mixed in with it, tinged in as almost like an under sound, if that makes sense. It screams. High-pitched screams.
She's gonna probably put her hands over her ears, trying to block some of that out. Like, she's already got so much noise. It's just ow.
Okay. And with that, the stitching becomes undone. The bag has been destroyed, and its contents are now clear to see on the floor. On the floor by the two of you is a pile of teeth.
Ooh.
Human
Ooh.
teeth. Some fresher than others, as some of the roots still have gum and blood on the
Oh.
tips.
Do the ravens know about the teeth?
All you can hear, Aurora, is them egging you on. Like, keep going, burn, burn, burn.
Still grimacing, just look at Amira. Can you keep going?
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's better.
Okay. And with that, again, for the sake of people's perspective who are further away, you can now see Amira multiple times now, like conjuring magic, conjuring spells, firing them at the floor. Like whatever is on the ground is being completely smoked. As the teeth take on a glow as they almost form their own small little campfire. The flame turning a slight tinge of green from the calcium. But the pile burns, and there's now no longer a pile of teeth, but now ash. That some of the ravens come down, like they swoop from the top of the megaliths and begin to swarm the area where the teeth were. To the point that at first you think, Amira and Aurora, that they're swarming you. There's so many around you at that point.
My hands immediately just go over my head, just to make sure that like, if a bird lands on me or like goes at me, I'm not gonna get hurt, but also to make sure that like I don't hurt any of the ravens. Because that is a massive no-no. You don't hurt the ravens. And you just hear kind of like a muffled like, are they happy? Are the ravens happy now?
I so.
Aurora, you can actually hear some of them almost issuing commands to the others. But it's still those multiple overlapping voices of giving a command, receiving the command, like affirmation. But the general gist that you get is spread the ashes, spread them far, spread them far, spread the ashes across the fields, remove the pile. And the ravens are actually using like the wind power that they're generating to scatter the ashes.
Saya, just from where she is, whoever's around her, she's just gonna go, what the hell is going on over there?
I have not a single fucking clue.
The ravens
Birds
are
of-
raving.
But the birds have helped us out before, and no reason to assume they're not gonna try helping us now.
Well, whatever seems to be going on, it seems to be a good thing. They're not, attacking or being aggressive in really any sense of the word. They're kind of just moving.
Eventually, the birds disperse. And they even leave the megaliths. You are left standing in an open field, Aurora and Amira.
Aurora starts looking relieved once it starts quieting down.
So they're happy?
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully whatever we just did helps us. Let's get back to the others.
Yeah, well, let's met a maver about this way later.
She's heading back to everybody else, giving like a little thumbs up.
Jack will signal back a thumbs up.
So,
Is everybody okay? Sorry.
no, you go. You go first. You're more important.
Be fine. Oh. Hopefully whatever we just did will help in this fight.
Oh, so they were leading you to an advantageous position?
It's a bag of teeth. But it's some sort of dark magic, so it's destroyed now, and hopefully it'll help us. She is also, for sake of note, she is keeping her voice like down, like slightly above a stage whisper, like slightly around like a whisper, stage whisper.
DM, would I know anything about that? Like a dark magic bag of human teeth?
Arcana check.
Can I do the same, being a sorcerer?
Sure.
Can I, just being from Barovia?
Oh wow, that's a dirty 20.
Yeah, if you want to do an Arcana. Fine then, let's open it up since everyone is asking. You could do an Arcana if you think your character would care.
Fair enough.
I think I know much, honestly.
Okay, to be fair, no one's rolled super low. I will say that Saya, Jack, and Amira, you've heard stories of people enchanting objects with magic. It's one of the main ways of storing magic, but also of creating enchanted items. So, there's the potential that this bag was an enchanted item. Aurora, knowing a little bit more of what you know, knowing that the runes on the bag were from the Abjuration school. Abjuration is known for the more support style of magic. It's the buffing, the debuffing, creating temporary shields. It's that kind of school. So although it might not be connected specifically to the human teeth aspect of it, you get the impression that maybe that bag was being used to channel those kind of effects. And then going up to Sander, as a man of the Fae, that actually doesn't help you here, because from what you remember, night hags aren't Fae.
Oh shit.
But what you do know is that quite often hags, fae, fiend or otherwise, do use physical objects and enchant them with the idea that if they can store multiple magical effects within multiple items that they can then use to their advantage, they don't have to worry about their spells as much. And you know that many hags use bodies, blood, bone to channel the darker side of their magic. So it's probably a catalyst.
Okay. So as soon as Aurora starts describing it, Saunder's eyes would kind of go very wide and just be like, well, I'm very glad that you did follow those ravens. They just destroyed a large catalyst of energy that the hags would use, so their spells aren't effective now. I mean, they're still hurt, but they're not going to pack as much of a punch anymore. And I might know what kind of hags that we're dealing with now.
Don't mean to throw you off topic, but would that be something that they would feel or understand went down?
DM.
Potentially. Depends on how big of an enchantment was on it.
I would say it's a bit of a coin toss. It depends on how much magic was stored in the bag. If it was a large amount, then they definitely would have felt something. But if it was a smaller amount, I don't believe that they would notice.
Fair enough. Let's hope for the smaller amount.
So, sorry.
No, it's okay. It was just more of an, I hope so too, crossing fingers.
I'm just asking for clarification what the teeth were, if they were the hags or in the Fae realm. Like, I'm a little confused about that.
Well, Aurora, what do you tell Saya?
Nothing.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I missed a little bit of that. What was Saya's question exactly?
So Mythical was confused about the teeth and why they were there, what they were for. Like she doesn't understand what's going on. So then I handed it back to Aurora to be like, well, what does Aurora tell her about the teeth?
Okay. Aurora would more or less tell her what the ravens told her, that it was some form of dark magic, and then obviously like what she saw. So basically she will relay everything she knows.
So you know that Aurora, after entering the circle, found a coin purse looking bag, and inside it was full of teeth.
Okay.
Like that, legit. And then and then her and Amira working together burnt the bag.
Okay.
Well, we have an advantage now. Hopefully. Don't waste it. Get to that windmill.
All right then.
Okay.
So just for my own notes and my own readiness, what is the marching order? I know it's Aurora, King, then Amira, and then after that, what is the order?
After that, if everyone's alright with it, I'm gonna throw Sonder, Irina, Jack, Saya, Azazel.
Okay.
Would you
Completely
like
fine with me.
us to move our characters under screen?
No,
to that order?
I'm just arranging you on the other map so that you're in
Okay.
order. Because I want to make sure I got it right.
Understood.
So then it's Amira. Then. Excuse me, I did not want to open her character sheet. How dare.
Sorry.
Why are you apologising? It's literally got nothing to do with you.
I just feel like my character's a problem children. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm so proud of the fact that Irina's got a decent chunky health pool now. It's like, yay, she's not gonna die. Maybe.
Please don't
Ideally,
jinx it.
No.
Hopefully. Who's counting? So you've been given instructions, Aurora. Bum rush and go.
Yup. Let's do this thing.
Okay. And it's with you kicking in the front door and barging into this windmill that we are going to leave it for today. With next episode beginning with our windmill fight part 2. But thank you everyone so much for watching tonight. Thank you to my players and thank you to my audience. We'll be here every Friday night, 7 PM EST, or you can catch the VODs on YouTube every Tuesday afternoon/morning, depending on the time zones. But say goodnight to my players, audience, and audience. Have a good night from the players.
Good night. Good night.
And we will see you next week.